Right now, recent high school and college graduates are entering the job market with really a few options. The unemployment rate hit 13.3% in May. Now, that was a drop from the previous month, but still, it's a really daunting job market for people who are on the hunt right now. So, I want to bring in Lakeisha Mathews to provide some advice for people who are on the hunt. Lakeisha, how's it going?
It's going well. Thanks for having me.
Lakeisha, you're the director of the Career and Internship Center at the University of Baltimore. So I know you have just a lot of incredible information to share with people right now. And I want to ask you, what opportunities are there out there and what industries are hiring right now?
Great question. So the good news for any college graduate or any job seeker is that companies are still hiring. Yes, there are a lot of folks who have lost work. Yes, there are some industries and companies that are struggling, but from what we're seeing in the Baltimore metro area is companies are still seeking out candidates. In a couple of ways they're doing that. They are still contacting college career centers. We are having employers daily post jobs to our job board. In addition, we collaborated with the Maryland Career Consortium last Friday, actually on Juneteenth, and had a very large virtual fair with nearly 100 employers. So surely that shows that employers are still hiring. That's number one. The second thing is that what people and what job seekers and students want to do is be very aware of what's happening in their state and their region. Because right now, things really differ by where you live at and what industry you're in. Starting out with COVID, we saw grocery stores, the big box retailers like the Targets and the Walmarts all doing very well. Obviously, hospitals needed employees, nursing homes, in many places, state and federal government. However, now that we're kind of moving out of the first phase of COVID, what we're seeing now is some places that had closed down initially, like restaurants, are opening back up, bringing employees back. And we see some industries that weren't hit initially, like higher education, now being hit. Now that students have left for the year and may or may not come back for the fall. So it's very important that job seekers understand the target industry that they are looking to go into and follow the trends in that industry. And then after you understand your industry, you want to understand what's happening in your region, because every region is really different. I'm on the Midwest, East Coast. We are a large nonprofit sector, obviously a large government sector, higher education. In my state, we're a small state in Maryland, but we're a large college state. So if you're in any of those industries, you need to look at that industry, but also that region.
Just sounds like it's a very evolving job market, and that's something that 2020 has, just brought so much change for so many people. And I want to ask you too, for people who've maybe found that target job that they're interested in an industry that is hiring, what's the first step to a job search right now?
Absolutely. That's a great question, because what we're seeing is the employers are trying to figure this out too. Many of them went from hiring in person on site to having to hire in different ways and engage job seekers virtually. So I think one of the main things in not only knowing your industry, target specific companies and then figure out how those companies are hiring right now. Some of them do post to some of the larger job boards, but more often what works better is going to the company's individual website. And we see a lot of job seekers and students get frustrated because they post and post and post to the large job boards, but many employers will start first on their individual job sites. And that will also give you a good idea right now. Some companies, maybe they normally have 30, 40, or more postings. You may go now and they only have 5. That's a good indication of what's going on with that company, how many postings they actually have up on their actual website. Number 2, I would probably say networking is going to be your best tool right now. And networking is one of those things, either you like it or you don't, right? You might be introverted. Maybe you're a younger professional, entry level, and you haven't had to network much. Maybe you're a first generation college student and you don't have that type of social capital. But the important thing is talk to family members, people at your church, synagogue, people in your neighborhood. Let people know you are job searching right now. And I think that's also important, because some of us may have to have a short-term goal and a long-term goal. Maybe in your industry, in your region, you're not going to be able to get that career dream job right now, but you need to work. So talking and using your network and letting people know that you're searching is going to be key. In my neighborhood, we're all home. I've gotten to know my neighbors more over the last few months than I have known since I've lived in my neighborhood. And because of that, we know what's going on and we talk about what's happening, who's hiring and what you heard over there. This is not the time to isolate yourself. This is the time to seek out support. And by all means, if you are a college student, you have a career center on your campus that you pay for through your tuition fees. And many college students don't use our offices. Go and talk with the professionals in your career center. There are employers posting jobs to them and talking with them every single day.
Does sound really interesting, the point that you make, how everybody is home right now and we're getting to know people maybe more than we would have in the past, even in this world of social distancing. And now it's so important to take advantage of resources online and interact with people online when you can't do it in person. So I want to ask you next, Lakeisha, when they have, these interviews that maybe won't be in person for the foreseeable future, how can you stand out as a candidate for those jobs?
So this is a big one because I also teach career planning courses at several different colleges, and we've been doing virtual interviewing, and I've seen a little bit of everything. So let's start with some of the basics. First and foremost, you still need to dress professional. Just because you're at home, even if your bottom half is not dressed professional, your top half needs to be dressed professionally. Number two, you want to have a nice background. You want to show them who you are, and you don't want to show anything that you really wouldn't want people to see, that a space in your house you normally wouldn't want to bring people to. If you're like me and you have pets and children, you need to try to carve out a space and a time where maybe somebody else can step in and watch the kids or the pets and make sure that there's no distractions. The next thing I would say a lot of job seekers don't think about is they have a tendency, when employers tell us, is to only think about themselves. They say, how much does this position pay? Is there opportunity for growth? But how many of us ask the employer, what can I do for you? What do you need to be profitable? And I think that as a person who manages myself, when I hear people coming to me as a manager with solutions, when I see people who want the company to be successful and they are not just thinking about themselves, that's what makes you stand out. And I think in this kind of environment where we're all learning a new normal, managers and hiring recruiters are really going to be looking for those people who can step in and say, what can I do to help? I'm willing to work from home. Once you go back, I'll go back, and showing this flexibility and adaptability. I think another thing that will really make folks stand out, as we have talked to employers, is, okay, if I can't work now, what am I still doing to develop myself? I am hearing a lot of students I have nieces and nephews who are staying up till 3 a.m. and then, sleeping in all day. Employers want to know what you're doing now. Are you giving back to your community? Maybe you're helping at the local school handing out food. Maybe you made cards from home. Go volunteer. Get a virtual internship. Employers want to see that you were able to make something out of hard times, that you have resilience, not that you're just sitting at home waiting for another opportunity to land in your lap. And some of them said, you know what? If you just take a class online, go and study something. There are free classes on YouTube. Keep your mind growing. Keep your talent in a stage of development, even while we're quarantining. I think that those by far are the things people need to do to stand out to employers. Ask the employers what they need from you. How can you help them succeed? And make sure that you're continuously growing and developing your skill set.
Lakeisha, you've done such a great job of demonstrating how these factors are so important in today's COVID-19 climate and when we're socially distanced. But I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, these are all factors that are very important, even outside of the environment that we're in right now, right? Showing that you can continuously adapt and also that you're always wanting to learn. And I love the point that you made about asking the company, what can I do for you? That was awesome. Lakeisha, thank you so much for talking with me today and for all your useful pointers for folks who may be out there looking for a job right now. You can read even more helpful information right now in the CBS Baltimore article. Katie Johnston for WJZ.com.